Happy Shenanigans Fun Friday. Today I figured I'd do something that I think is a lot of fun. I love to bake. And today what I'm baking are soft pretzels. Now I've included a video that you can watch of how I made these pretzels, and I'll also include the recipe with it. Who doesn't like a good soft pretzel?
Well, the first pretzels were baked as a soft, squishy bread, like the soft pretzels of today. The popularity of these twisty treats spread across Europe during the Middle Ages, seen as a symbol of good luck. In 1510, the Ottoman Empire attempted to invade Vienna, Austria, by digging tunnels underneath the city's walls. Monks baking pretzels in the basement of a building heard the enemy's progress and alerted the rest of the city, and they helped defeat the attack. As a reward, the Austrian emperor gave the pretzel bakers their own coat of arms. By the 17th century, the interlocking loops of the pretzel had come to symbolize undying love as well. Pretzel legend has it that in 1614 in Switzerland, royal couples used the pretzel in their wedding ceremonies to seal their marriage, and that this custom may have been the origin of the phrase tying the knot. In Germany, the country and people most associated with the pretzel throughout history, 17th century children wore pretzel necklaces on New Year's to symbolize good luck and prosperity for the coming year. When did pretzels make their way to America? German immigrants certainly brought pretzels with them when they began settling in Pennsylvania. In 1861, Julius Sturgis found the first commercial pretzel bakery in Lititz, Pennsylvania. Until the 1930s, pretzels were still manufactured by hand. But in 1935, the Reading Pretzel Machinery Company introduced the first automated pretzel maker, which enabled bakers to put out some 245 pretzels per minute, compared with 40 per minute by one worker. Today, Pennsylvania remains the American pretzel making capital, as a full 80% of all United States pretzels come from there. When you mix the dough initially with the paddle, you just want to get it in a rough form. And then you're going to switch to the dough hook. And when you switch to a dough hook, it really starts developing the dough into the way you want. And after about 5 minutes, it should pull away from the bowl. There shouldn't be any bits in the bottom, and it should be a nice, smooth, textured dough. And you let this dough sit and develop for about an hour until you'll see it start to grow, and this has an act of softening the dough. When the dough is all ready after about an hour, hour and a half, you can then start dividing it into the pretzel pieces. So what we do here is we roll it into one loaf, and then we start dividing it into 8 separate pieces. I typically cut it in half, and each half into 4. And this helps us get ready. And we let that sit for a second. I sometimes will roll it each one into a little ball. And then we are going to start rolling out each piece. And we want to roll out each piece to about 18 inches in length. So you just take your time, you start rolling. It's a very heavy dough and somewhat dry, so you really don't need any extra flour on this. That would cause problems with rolling it out. So you just roll it out on a nice counter, clean counter. And once you have it into those 18 inches pieces, you start shaping it into the pretzel shape. And it's very simple. It's sort of, you take each end, you spin it around once, and then you make a press onto the part where it adheres. If you do have a little hard time with them adhering, you can wet them a little bit where they connect to the loop. That'll help them, but typically, as long as you're working quick enough, they will stick together. And once we do this, then we're ready to get them ready for the bath. And during this time, you should be getting your baking soda bath boiling, so when you're all done, you can give them their bath. Once you're all set with all of them rolled out, now you're ready for the bath. And we put them in the boiling water bath. You can see that it's not boiling too much, just a nice slow boil. And I do it one at a time and then put them in for 30 seconds. I set a little timer on my phone and just put them in for 30 seconds. And you could put more in at a time if you were in a hurry and your pot's large enough. I just do it a little bit at a time. This gives a nice coating. It starts them to raise. It softens them. There's a lot of benefits to doing this step. And you'll see quite a change from just for the 30 seconds. And you put them out on the tray, and then you top them with whatever seasoning you want. We typically do it with pretzel salt, and we also love the Trader Joe's everything but the bagel seasoning. So this also, doing it this way slowly, allows them to cool a little bit before you put them in the oven. And I have a tendency to sprinkle them right as they're boiling after they come out, because they're wet already, and that helps things adhere to the pretzel. This dough could also be used done the same way to make bagels. You'd make the pieces a little bit bigger, turn them into the ring, and it would work out just as well for bagels. When I used to do bagels in a shop, we used to actually, instead of baking soda, put cornmeal in the water, and they would give a nice shine to the bagels. You could do the same thing here. I've just decided to use the traditional baking soda. Then they're ready to go in the oven and get baked. And then as they come out, you'll have something nice to eat.